speak about burden because if you talk to another person nowadays, like for more than 2 minutes or something, we can just understand that each and every person in this world is going through some kind of worry or that leads to burden, and this burden makes the person's life really complicated. So this, I'm not going to take much time, but then in a little bit of time I just want to give you some tips of like how you can lead, how you can avoid this worry, and how you can avoid this burden, and how you can lead a really simple life. So if you look at the kids, they have like their own burden, like maybe the kid want a particular toy and the parents are not letting the kid buy it. So that's a kind of worry for the kid, and the kid may disobey the parent that same day, and that becomes the burden for the parents. It happens. So the youngsters have their own burden, like the youngsters, they need their own things, and sometimes the parents just don't understand them really. But especially like the youngsters living in America, and the parents, like they came to America just some years back, and they need some things really very badly in the school or in the college, but the parents might not agree with it. So that's a burden for the youngsters. And for the parents, it's a burden that how come my kid is not obeying me? I'm trying to make him understand things, but then the kid is not obeying, my child is not trying to obey me. So the old people, they have their own burden. I am old and I have like pain in my body, and I have to go to the hospital, and the kids are not agreeing with me and everything. So each and every person, from child till the death of the person, every person have like their own burden. So as a Christian, I am asking, even me, it's very easy for me to talk, but then when worries come to my life, I know it's really difficult to solve it. So, but I'm asking you, as a Christian, do we really need to carry this burden of our own? There's a person who really understands us. There's a person who is like beside you, come on, I can help you. Then why should we carry this burden on our own? So, on this, I have a reference verse. My reference verse is Luke 10, 40, 41, and 42. In Luke 10, 40, 41, 42, it says, "But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, 'Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me.' And the Lord said, 'Martha, Martha,' the Lord answered, 'you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her.'" So this is a really good example I found from the Bible. Like when we are worried, we carry things and we don't last week, Pastor Roy, I don't know how many of you remember it, Pastor Roy was speaking about the example of the fig tree. That was not the fig tree to be ripened at that time, but he was telling, with faith, if you ask the mountain to go to the sea, it will move away. And then God did not ask the mountain to move at that time, but he showed the example by telling the fig tree that it will not be bearing fruit again. How come God did not tell the mountain to move? Because he told, I don't know if you remember, he told at that time on that mountain there were thousands of people living on that mountain, and God knew it. So if he was asking the mountain to move, all these people would be dying. So God did not want that to happen, but instead, even if it was the time for the fig tree to be ripened, he destroyed the fig tree. The fig tree was not bearing fruit anymore. So God knows you are the one, if God wants to bring me to faith, or if God wants me to bring me to the maximum faith, he is not giving my husband the trials and all the worries. He will give me the worries. He will give me the burden because God wants to teach me what faith is. And if God wants to have faith in you, you to have faith, He is not going to teach your husband, He is not going to teach your children, He is not going to teach your brothers. When you look around, you'll be like, oh, my brother is so happy, my sister is so happy, how come I am worried, how come I am burdened? I am serving the same Lord that he is serving. But if He gives your sister or your brother or your parents or your husband or your wives or your children worry, you are not going to study the faith that God wants you to have. That is why God is giving you the trials, you the worry, you the burden. But as human beings, we always have the tendency to trying to solve problems on our own. If God is the one who created the problem, you can never solve it. But instead, please allow God to solve it. That is why it's written, Martha was always busy. Martha was always busy with the cooking and serving the people who come to their home. But Mary chose the good portion. She was always beside Jesus. She was, whatever problem she had, she told Jesus, Lord, I have this problem, please solve this. But Martha was trying to solve all her problems on her own. And, she was distracted. That's what's written in the Bible. She was never happy. Her life was complicated. Her life was never simple. But what about Mary? Mary was always beside Jesus. So Mary's life, and God said, she has chosen what is better. Even when Jesus says she has chosen the better, we can understand when we go to Jesus, don't try to solve your problems on your own. I have experienced, I had problems in my life, and there was a time when I used to solve it on my own, but it was never ever gone. But when I came to know that, I prayed about it, I came to know that I started putting my problems under Jesus' feet, and the problem started, it's solved. So what I want to tell you is, in this complicated life, in this busy life, we are the children of God. Please do not complicate your life by carrying your problems, by carrying your burdens. Instead, put those problems at the Jesus' feet and make your life simple and enjoy your life. May God bless you all.